Are you itchy, Mama? You got scratches? Huh? Hi, you want scratches? Okay. Where are you itchy? Right here? Oh, is that the spot? Is that the spot? This blanket is itchy. Right there. Oh, sweet girl. You're such a sweet girl. Any more? Any down here? Oh, yeah. Is that better? Is that better? Got any more itches?
Welcome back, everybody. I have to start this video off by saying I'm sorry about my encroaching gloved finger on the camera. Luckily, it's only while I'm trying to open this hay bale one-handed and hold the camera. But it was pretty cold today. So throwing the horses some hay in this small pasture because as you can see, the grass is really eaten down. And we do have some really cold weather before we're going to have a couple days of warm weather plus crazy rain and wind. So getting ready for that. Going to try and squeeze in a ride before that happens. As you can see, the horses are blanketed up and we're going to start throwing hay out in the big field for the horses as well because there is some interesting moves / not moves going on with the pastures that I will explain in a minute. So before my ride today, I usually take Blue's bit off for the winter, ride him in just the bitless setup on his Michelin multi-bridle. So if any of you know what it's like to take a bit off or to take apart any of your English tack, even if it's well oiled, those little hooks can be tricky. So I'm just working it open, trying not to rip anything. But it always is challenging. And I do try to avoid using the hoof pick when I can, but I will resort to that if need be. Now, when I do ride Blue in a bit, it's a very gentle bit. It's a loose ring lozenge bit. He cannot go in a snaffle. His palate in his mouth is too low and the snap action really hurts him. So he has that little copper lozenge in the middle, which he actually really likes. I think he likes the flavor of it. And it took us a few bits to find one that really worked for him that wasn't too harsh. But sometimes he does need a little bit more cue and directional power. It would not be a barn day without Sherman. And of course, because I'm sitting down trying to do a chore, Sherman has decided that my lap is the place to be. So I'm going to pause and give him some kitty scratches for a minute, let him enjoy my lap, even though his little claws can be quite sharp. He's just a sweet boy. Oh, cat butt shot. Sorry, everybody, but this was the best place to put the camera while holding and petting the cat. Okay, but eventually I need to get back to what I was doing, so Sherman gets to go down on the floor. And yep, he's trying to get back up. He says, no, more lap time. So I'm going to try and block him with my little repurposed makeup bag here. But in true cat fashion, he will not be confined. He's back. But what can I say? He's such a cute friend, and pretty warm too. Look at that sweet face. So I'm going to be a responsible horse parent and actually wash Blue's bit before I go ahead and store it for the winter. Now on the loose rings, you'll notice that there's still the little leather attachments. Those are part of the Micklem multi-bridle. I find it easier just to leave them on. That way I don't lose them for next year. We had a nice ride today. I was really glad to be in the Western saddle. When I was out in the woods and I was cantering along one of the trails, Blue, I guess, was feeling fresh in the cold air, and he decided to try and let out a few bucks. Where in the English saddle, I would have felt it a lot. I might have even gone flying. In the Western saddle, it was more of a suggestion of a buck and much easier to sit. I didn't grab for the horn because it's just not a natural reflex. But I can see why people like starting young horses in things like Western saddles. It was very secure. And of course, everybody had their high vis orange on today. Hamish had his little bandana. Blue was wearing his little carrot ears. I think it makes everyone look a little goofy, but because there are hunters and things out in the woods, it is better to be safe than sorry. So after the ride, I'm just doing a little bit of barn cleaning, which I find very satisfying. And I'm going to throw some of this hay out to the horses in the fields because we don't want to waste it as much as we can. And also, there is nasty weather coming, so for them to have a little bit of extra is always a plus for us. I thought the horses would be more afraid of the truck, but once they realized that I was a Meals on Wheels, you'll see what happens.
Get out. Sky, move. Move. None of you are afraid of the truck or the horn. Mina. No. All right. We're going this way. Oh my God, horses. Ah! Hi, Sunday. Hi, Jack. Hi, Nelson. Goofy babies.
Even though I edited the footage down to be much shorter, I was trapped by those horses for 10 minutes in the truck. Nothing was working. They were more interested in the food than they were in getting out of the way. So earlier before my ride, I had used each of these little soaking boots on a lady's horses who have some laminitis and some foot issues, and they had to have a copper sulfate soak. I didn't video it just because I was trying to get it done so I could get out for a ride. But since that lady is out of the country on a vacation, I offered to take care of her horse's feet while she was gone. So I was just cleaning up from that. This is actually the next day. The day in between my ride and getting stuck in the truck with the horses. We had that day of just rain and high winds and flooding and just very, very gross conditions. So this is the next day. I'm back out at the barn cleaning up after the horses were in for breakfast, and it is gone very cold again. I think we're in the 20s or the 30s this morning, and the high will be 40 or 41 today. Since one of the horses peed in the barn, I am putting down some PDZ powder. Don't ask me what that stands for, but it just eliminates the urine smell in the barn. Now here I'm doing some girl math on how much hay I need to throw down so that we're prepared for the afternoon feeding as well as for the next day. And I realize I'm going to have to get some hay bales out of the big loft today. Since the light switches are by the electrical fence for the loft, I went ahead and took a look at it, and it is down even further. So something from the storm must have fallen onto the fence. So this ongoing saga of what is causing the power on the fence to go lower continues. I still have not identified where the issue is. However, it's really important that I find it, because at 1.6, 1.7, that power is almost too low to give the horses enough of a shock if they walk into the fence to deter them. At a 5, they would still get enough of a jolt to let them know, I probably don't want to walk through this. At a 1, now we could have horses escaping the fence and, wandering around, especially out on the roads, which is definitely not safe. So after I'm done moving this hay into the barn, I am going to go in search of possible issues with the fence again. Okay, I said I would talk about the pasture situation. Now, normally we have one big winter pasture and one big summer pasture that the horses are turned out in. Right now we have a small portion of the winter pasture sectioned off with just some electrical fencing to keep 4 horses separate from the herd for different reasons. It's nothing serious, we're just trying to keep the herd dynamics calm for now. I have Blue and Mina up chilling in the stallion paddock just behind the barn because I was planning on doing some body work on both of them today, but it looks like I'm going to do some fencing first before I can get to using their Christmas present for them, which is one of those new little massage guns. that they really seem to enjoy. I should clarify when I call it the stallion paddock. We no longer have any stallions at the barn, but it is a paddock that is smaller, that has extra high fencing on it, that when the owner was breeding Tricaners and she had her Tricaner stallion at the farm, he was housed in. So we still call it either the stallion paddock or Tron's paddock, which was the name of that stallion. But again, because the fencing is so low on the voltage and because we don't necessarily trust the two herds to be over top of that piece of electrical fencing, that's why we haven't moved the rest of the herd to the winter pasture where there is more grass right now, because we are worried that they will bust through that small fencing and then we'll have a big herd riot on our hands. One of the new horses to the barn is a Mustang who lived wild till he was 4, and he has shown that he wants to challenge our herd leader Dusty to be leader of the herd, and we really just don't need that dynamic going on right now. As I mentioned before, we had that crazy rain and windstorm yesterday that dumped over an inch of rain in about 18 hours. So everything is squelchy, mucky, messy, and I cannot get the four-wheeler back here. So I am walking the back portion of the summer field on foot, trying to find out what is wrong with this fence.
Hi, pretty Daryl. Go back to your nap. Hi.
I did find one tree branch on the fence. It wasn't a very big one. When I moved it, I did get the power up to a 2.3, but that is still not high enough. I'm going to have to do more searching, and maybe I'll bring you along with me, but it is starting to drive me crazy.
Right, Blue?
I will leave you all here for the day. The horses are definitely taking a nap before we go and do the body work. So thank you for watching. See you next time.